Chapter 146 of the Frieren Manga is here, and this chapter was pretty intense, especially at the end. We also got some more characterization for Wehrlos and Kreis, who Falch saw walking down in the tunnels at the end of the last chapter. This chapter pretty much starts with the Shadow Warrior duo. Wehrlos himself is just relaxing in the snow-melt water, which is pretty dangerous, but I guess Unk just wanted to show off his build. Even though Kreis warns that he could die in there, the dwarf points out that he also swam through it before. That also enhances Kreis' concern as he gets Wehrlos to get up. He starts setting up a campfire while expressing his annoyance at Clematis having them do the riskiest things. However, Wehrlos doesn't have a choice because people would recognize his face. After all, he was once known as Eisen, the hero of the far north, who recovered a third of the Empire's lands from the demons over 80 years ago. Frieren even stated, everyone's probably forgotten him by now though, but she still remembers him. Kreis explains that the statues and portraits that honored his achievements were all destroyed a long time ago too, showing that people really did seem to forget about him. Kreis clearly still feels very strongly about heroes, as he states that the people of the Empire don't remember Wehrlos, even though he once saved their country. Wehrlos tells Kreis not to worry about it, but it definitely does seem to linger on his mind as he sits in silence, while the dwarf changes his outfit. If you remember, Kreis' goal was to be an unforgettable hero like Emil, which is why he chose a name like Guerrilla Warrior. He didn't want to be like Kraft, another hero who is completely forgotten. At some point in his journey, I do wonder if Kreis gave up on being a hero. It could have to do with a hero like Wehrlos, who's still alive but already forgotten. I'm just glad bro doesn't seem to be as cold-hearted as I thought he had become, as he really does seem to care about Wehrlos' well-being. After the dwarf finished changing, Kreis suggested he warm himself up a bit, but Wehrlos doesn't feel the need to do so, and they keep going through the tunnel. After breaking down a wall further down, Kreis continues to glaze Wehrlos' strength, and asks what his body is even made of. Wehrlos just says it's normal, even though it's not really. After a second, bro agrees that he is a bit different. Apparently, Wehrlos likes to say everything is normal, and it's a habit he actually picked up from an old friend. Wehrlos believed he was the strongest until he met that guy. That one friend was none other than Eisen, who taught Wehrlos that a warrior's pride and fearlessness in the face of death can be a deadly weakness. We can even see that Eisen landed a good slash on Wehrlos' face. It's because of those words that Wehrlos survived for so long. He's looked death in the eye so many times, and we see that he even fought Rival sometime after Eisen fought him in the Monument arc. I say that because Rival already has the scar he got from Eisen. Wehrlos seems like he put up a good fight too, managing to survive thanks to Eisen's words, allowing him to stay calm. That's why he keeps saying everything is normal. Kreis doesn't buy it though, as it seems like Wehrlos is just always looking for somewhere to die. It's like the dwarf wants to find a place to die an honorable death, suitable for a warrior. Wehrlos does say they've only known each other for like 8 years, which is quite a few years after he last saw Sign, well over a decade ago. If that's how Kreis sees it though, then the dwarf can't deny it. The thing is, Wehrlos always had it in the back of his mind that if there was a warrior out there who could actually kill him, then his friend Eisen would be the one. To him, Eisen was the strongest warrior, and it's pretty cool to see the respect he has for his friend. That's what he thought at least. However, they've both grown old now, and he asked Kreis if he's ever met Löwe. Clematis did introduce him once, and Kreis could tell the commander is seriously skilled. However, that level of glaze isn't enough for Wehrlos as he remembers seeing Löwe for the first time. Bro literally admits that he was afraid of Löwe, which is actually scary to read. Even more concerning is that Löwe, someone in a higher position than Wehrlos, said he was prepared to be nothing but a simple pawn, causing Wehrlos to question what type of monsters are they up against. Then we finally see Falch hiding behind a pillar listening to them. He repeats that same question in his head upon seeing Wehrlos. He literally thought Wehrlos was a demon general, and I can see why with just that armor alone. He questions how many people Wehrlos has probably killed, and knows that there's no way someone like him could walk right through the front door of the festival, which is why they're taking this underground passage instead. It's an escape route from the age of the unified empire. Falch learned about it from an old blueprint from Seria's collection, and is glad he made the right choice to secure this location. If you remember, Falch had seen Iris and Routine down there before, but there weren't any wanted posters or proof back then, which is why he couldn't make a move. He knew their goal was probably reconnaissance, but he never expected them to send a monster like Wehrlos. This info was still worth the risk, and now he knows the commander of the Shadow Warriors is Löwe. He is able to remember that the Governor General of the Löwe domain in the far north of the Empire shares that name. Plus, going by the roster of Imperial officers Laniel obtained, Löwe is an outsider who obtained his rep through covert ops in the south. Knowing Löwe is from the southern lands gives Falch a bad feeling, probably because he also knows that the supposedly extinct clan that had spells related to foresight once lived in the southern lands too. This almost suggests that Löwe is the enemy with foresight that Zarya mentioned in the last chapter. With this important info gained, Falch knows he needs to let the others know as soon as possible before Wehrlos enters the palace. However, Wehrlos then comments how he hears breathing, causing Falch to slowly drop his hand. Kreis is pretty sure it's just Wolf, who likes to skulk around in the shadows. At first, the dwarf thought that too, but the sudden quickening of their heartbeat made it clear that it's an enemy. Falch is just about to place his hand on the ground to activate his escape spell when Wehrlos calls Bro out, begging him not to do anything stupid. Move and Wehrlos will kill him. Falch hesitates for a moment before taking the risk and activating a spell. Near instantly, his right forearm is slashed off and sent flying into the air. By the time the ligament lands on the floor, Wehrlos has his weapon to Falch's neck. He had warned Falch not to move, and now warns that it will be his head next time. The chapter then ends with Falch understanding the chance Wehrlos has given him, by allowing him to even have it next time. This shows Wehrlos can actually be quite reasonable, which is a relief to Falch, and me as well. I don't really want Bro to die, especially not this fast, and it's cool that Wehrlos isn't a complete monster, by being able to show some restraint. Perhaps they might be able to have some form of discussion, which I will be very interested to see. If anything, I can see Falch buying enough time for Frieren's party to pull up. That could lead to a battle between Stark and Wehrlos, which would be pretty cool since Stark is a student of his friend Eisen. It would also give Stark a good battle against someone who actually fought with two of the strongest warriors in their primes, Rival and Eisen. This could also be where Zain reunites with Kreis. They probably fight a bit at first, and then maybe some Takno Jutsu from the Frieren party could get both of them to switch sides. I doubt it'll be that easy though. But yeah, do you think Falch will die here? Or is this a clone and part of his plan to stall? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. I got some more Frieren content here too that you can check out. Peace.